color. Listen.
Unconventional again. Let's go back to season 19. I went home on this challenge, but this time it's different though. Baby, this is my store. I already know. As a kid, I love toys, but growing up in Haiti, I've never really got them. People are trying to survive, okay? Let's just put it that way. But first time in the United States, my mom was just showing me around, and you know, she took me to her food stores. I was still young, and I thought it was the most magical place. I would like to buy this little girl's dress. It's probably one of my favorite places in New York.
Say again?
I say, how is your day?
I can't complain.
You know, when we can't complain, that's something so it's going all right.
Exactly, there you go. My question for you is, how did you get into fashion?
How did I get into fashion? I started young, and I started in fashion. I started since I was 13. And even before that, you know, as a kid, I explored the world of fashion as a escapism type of situation. So it almost been in my life kind of since the beginning.
The beginning, and when you start moving around and talking, huh?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Why did you originally want to get Project Runaway?
You know, I never wanted to go to Prajjé Oscar. Oh yes, I ran away from that show for 10 years. I saw how it was on TV. I was very inspired by it. I know one day I would want to change my mind, but when it happened, I was still on, I'm not going to Project 105. I was producing, I'm the creative director for Philly Fashion Week down here, and we're producing our last show right before we go on lockdown. And my assistant came to me as the last designer and say, here, they've been looking for you. And I'm like, who's been looking for me? She's like, oh, I know. I see your text. I see the invoice. I see all of the emails and the voicemails. Like, they want you to go, and we filled the application for you. All you have to do is sign.
Wow. Okay.
So they had a whole meeting and literally had a Project Runway of, you know, Asian type of situation, and they're like, you're going, it's not up to you. And you know, at that moment I was just like, you know what else do I have to lose? Why not? So I went, and right before that the pandemic happened, so we had to wait this whole time to do it, and then we did it, and it was great. And now I'm like, when are we taping again?
Right. That's what's up. I like to hear that. And then you specifically design clothes for women, and you take pride in that. Why is that?
When I started designing, I designed for both men and women. I still do. I take men's on custom. I have my private clientele with men's. I did a first TV show with Josie called All on the Line. And I had both men and women. And I had one of the mentor thing was meeting with a buyer from Bloomingdale's, and she flat out asked me, she's like, so why are you making men and women's clothes when neither of them are working? And I was like, huh, that actually makes sense. So ever since then, and women was always more, you know, bringing more revenue, bringing more press and all that stuff. So ever since then, I focused on making women's clothes. I love making women's clothes. I have this natural connection with the women's body. I love women. I think women is God's greatest creation, even though I'm gay, you know, but I still appreciate it to the point where I want to, it's my thing to make women look beautiful, whatever it is, the aesthetic is. And I kind of went on with that, and I focused solely on women because it was better to do one thing and make it work and then attack the other.
That's really true too. And then this week we dealt with someone copying your look in a sense. When it comes to fashion and competitions, how would you advise one to avoid copying someone's look? Like, what's like some tips?
I mean,
this fashion is kind of hard, you know.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's always there. I would say just try to avoid doing it. If you are doing something and it looks like somebody's work, I think as a designer, that's where I step back and say, all right, this is not it yet. Because if it looks like somebody else's work, then it's not you. and try to pull back and try to leave it. But sometimes you are in the moment, you don't know until you're done doing it. And at that point, it's like all the money you spend on that look, it's not changing. There are people that just do that just for a living. They copy people's work and that's what they do. And I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair. It's the principle about it. We're not remaking things. If somebody tell you I come out with this great new idea, I'm sorry, I would have to see receipts, and that goes far back to where it's coming from because we've done everything pretty much at least 6 times, 10 times, 12 times around. It's how you do it, your interpretation of it, what you're gonna come new. But I guarantee you somebody else is doing that somewhere. But at the same time, don't hijack somebody's aesthetic. Wow, you're right there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And then being Haitian in the beginning, did you find it hard incorporating U.S. fashions also with Haitian fashion?
Well, since the beginning, I've always designed a brand that was global. The message or the stories that we tell, maybe of the Haitian people, of the Haitian culture, it's my thing. It's my way of spreading it out there because I do feel like Haitian culture is every person of color's culture. We need to know it, and there's a reason why we're not knowing it. And that's kind of where I come into play because once you do know what you have accomplished as a group, and where we've come from and what we've done before and how we've always been treated since before, it doesn't matter if we're on this side or the other side, we're still the same group. We came from that same little continent and we just split by vote. It's important, and I think you start to see things in a different perspective perhaps, and it's a conversation to be had. I am Haitian and we have a lot of issues. So it's always, I feel like it's my duty. Fashion is my job, it's my love, it's my everything, it's me. But my duty is to make sure that I always represent for those unrepresented. Because I was one of them. And can you imagine if Carter wasn't bringing Africa to the runway? I probably would never find the balls to do Haiti on the runway. So representation matters. And, I never really had an issue with bringing the clothes into a more US market because it was always designed that way. And I think it's because my education part and training and everything else happened here. So it had that flow. My adopted parents are French, so that also influenced it. My grandmother is true Haitian. So all the three kind of is what the Prajjé Oscar brand is.
Then you got to tell our viewers why they need to be tuned in to Project Runway All-Stars.
I'm sorry, say that again.
No problem. Tell our viewers why they need to watch Project Runway All-Stars.
Well, they need to watch because I'm still on there. They're trying to break my soul, but no one can break my soul, and you won't. Yeah, watch for the fabulous thing that's happening right now. I think right now, I don't know who's taking notice, but there is a history in the making in this season where we are the top 6 and, the cast, what it looks like. It's not very often when you see we are majority in the room. So I think there's a moment there that, take notice of. And I think, everyone is incredible in that season. I'm still pinch myself sometimes that I'm like, they call you for the little shit thing. That means you're somebody. It's a great season, and I think people should watch because it's a great season. There are different stories, different aesthetics. Everybody's good. Everyone's good.
Nice. And then before we wrap, I have to ask you, what advice would you give to other Black designers who want to get their work shown on a larger scale?
I always say it. I also am a professor at one of the college here, and I always tell my students, have a plan. Fashion is a marriage. It's a marriage of the creative and the business, and find ways to make that happen, because if you don't, you're just making clothes. And it sounds offensive, but it is, because fabric's expensive. Production is even more expensive. Pattern is expensive. Our assistant is expensive. PR, Jesus Christ, the least you will find is $2,500 a month. That's expensive. So if you don't marry the two, then you're making clothes. You're just gonna end up with a studio or a house full of clothes that nobody's buying, or you're not even pushing to sell, because you don't know how to move the business part. So that's always my one advice to start. And then, when it comes to the creative, the fashion part, know your skills, your craft well, whatever it is that you're selling, make sure it's the best one. Make sure it's not the worst one. One of these things, but do it well, do it right. People are paying their money for it. Your integrity is also underlined. All that is accounted, to be a good designer and really succeed, especially in this market because it's getting a little saturated with not good stuff, but
Yeah, that's really good advice on the business aspect. I think that. And then what's next for you?
well, what's next? We're already doing it. We went right back to work. Show's done. We're done taping and everything. We're working. We're already working on the next. Right now, we're sitting at the atelier, working on client stuff, working on new collection for this, for the season. That's how we're to start. We're possibly gonna go on a little runway tour for the runway season and really put, yeah, we're, why not? The people wants to see, let's let them see. And we're pushing online and pushing our product, creating product that is affordable for everyone to wear, kind of bring the lifestyle to everyone. Whether it's a couture, the streetwear, or just a t-shirt, it's there for you to buy. We're really focusing now on that marriage where I've made the name. You know what I do. I can give you a bomber jacket with my eyes closed, and I can give you a couture gown with my eyes closed too. And when you come to my house, you find the two, because that's my world. I've lived in it as a consumer. Streetwear, you just can't touch this, period. And it's just what it is as a consumer. And now, because of both Project Runway 19 and 20, I'm incorporating a lot of that into the house itself. So we're coming out with more streetwear pieces, more streetwear collections. In February with more gender fluid. So all that is what's next. We're incorporating that more. But it's that with working all day, making moves and keep it moving. Like next. It's like we're at work, that job is done, now moving on to the next job. So that's pretty much what it is.
Keeping it moving. I love that. Well, I definitely appreciated speaking with you today. I'm looking forward to more of your fashions and more of what you do. So thank you
very
again.
much. Yes, visit my website and we have shoes, we have backpacks, we have everything. There's a lot there people don't know, but if you just go to prajjeoscar.com, you will realize that, oh, this dude have a whole lifestyle they're going.
I was just on the site, so yeah, we'll make sure we post it with the interview. Well, you continue success and stay blessed.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.